Women in Business. This is in connection with Not the Main Character blog. And this is episode 1, Parenting, Mental Health and the Cost of Living Crisis. So pretty self-explanatory. In this episode we'll be talking about parenting, mental health and the cost of living crisis, which is a surprise for everyone.
All fun subjects.
Yay! That's totally not upsetting.
This is not going to be depressing whatsoever.
Yeah. Basically going to watch us cry for the next half hour. Welcome.
Cries in the paw.
Cries in the paw, yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, so you've just had a sprog.
I just had a sprog, as you can tell from the bags under my eyes. Yes, I had a little boy in July. It was a bit of a shock to us, wasn't it? Because he was premature.
Yeah.
We had all these like amazing plans. Like we haven't even discussed the fact that we've got a business. We have a business together. We have something like 350,000 followers on TikTok.
Just over 2,000 on Instagram. Not many, but
we need to work on Instagram a little bit more. We haven't got many on Facebook either. Really, we just focus on TikTok.
And we've been open since 2020, and we've had how many sales? Like 6,000.
We definitely should have looked into this before starting, but yes.
Casual chat.
Casual. As you can see, we're at all business. No flair.
This is what we're like every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in business together.
Yeah, we had all these plans. Like before I had my little boy Samuel, we had all these plans to because I do primarily design and you do primarily like social media and SEO, don't you?
Yeah, and customer service.
Yeah. We had all these plans where I'd teach Karis how to design because I've just done it since we started, haven't we? Yeah. Like if I had to do SEO now, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, because you started with the SEO to begin with, and then I carried on because you didn't like it, and I actually quite like it. So
I can't care.
I like the boringness of it.
I hate it. I love the fact that I can just sort of go, Karis, SEO please, and then it's sorted. But yeah, we had all these plans where I'd show you how to design and all this.
You managed to show me the templates, we have to make templates.
Yeah, because we use print on demand now, don't we?
For the dropshipper. So you taught me that, you wrote it all down, that was very organised. And then it just went to pot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Sam was early.
Yeah. We had planned to do it in sort of June time, but I got quite ill in my pregnancy, didn't I?
Yeah, you was really not well. It wasn't a very good pregnancy for you, I don't think.
Yeah. I was probably on bed rest for about a month.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hospital visits and worries and scares, wasn't there, with Sam? So.
Yeah, and then it was born. It was like, oh, hi, Karis, you're now looking after the business. There you go.
It was literally like, here you go.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do any of this stuff, but too late. And we didn't get as many sales, but I tried.
Do you know what, though? It was still a lot better than what I did when I first started. Like, if you have a look at some of our past designs, they're just horrific at the beginning, aren't they?
Yeah. To be honest, but it's all learning, isn't it?
Thing is, though, I feel like there has been like a noticeable improvement, like since I've started, because I go to university as a graphic design student, and there has been a noticeable improvement.
Massive improvement in your typography and everything, because we do kind of text stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, back onto parenting. Sorry, we've gone on a tangent, don't we?
So how are you finding it, like being like back into the workplace while having Sam? Like I know from experience when we're together trying to get stuff done, not half as much. We was pretty crap to begin with.
Yeah, we had all the time then, didn't we?
Yeah, we had all the time in the world, and we could take our time and mess about and faff and get caught up in chatting.
Yeah.
Whereas now with Sam, it's like all about. So how are you finding it personally?
It's like I really struggle because like before I like to be able to be like, right, this is my day, I'm going to do work at this time, I'm going to do this and this. Whereas now with a baby it is a lot more difficult to have an organised day because you don't know when they want to eat, you don't know when they want to sleep. I mean, he's having a nap now, but I can hear him whinging on the monitor, so I'm pretty certain.
Hear any cooing, it's the baby monitor.
It is the baby. That's the one thing I find really difficult. I find it difficult to get motivated because I can't think to myself, right, I've got a solid 2 hours here to do stuff. Because if I start something, I like to finish it.
Yeah, I'm different. I have to work in, I call it sprints, where I'll do a little bit and then take a break, a little bit and take a break. So I can work very broken, but you've always been very, if I'm putting my mind to this task is going from start to finish. And I'm guessing you struggle a bit with like it can no longer be like that right now.
Yes, like at the moment I'm constantly thinking, right, this is what we've got to do. Even in the podcast I'm like, this is what we've got to talk about, but oh my god, what if Sam wakes up? When in reality, what I'd probably do is
bring him in.
I'd bring him in, yeah. What's going to happen? It's our podcast, we can do what we want.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And
Dangerous.
I think that's what we forget with the business, is this is our business. We can work. It's not, we don't have a manager or a boss.
Yeah.
We're our own boss. We're each other's boss. And
exactly.
Every time one of us either messes up or doesn't do so, we're always nervous about telling the other person. And every time we've told the other person, we've just gone, don't care.
Yeah. It's fine. That's fine. Don't care. Yeah.
Whatever.
Like, one thing I think has become very clear, like, since I've had Sam, is you get what you put into it. You get out what you put into it. So, like, like, originally, like, we was working, like, 60-hour weeks and we was making, like, decent money, but we just didn't have any time to spend it, did we?
Yeah.
Because we was just working constantly. And now we maybe only work 12 hours a week, but it's like, yeah.
Demon.
It's like, now we're like, why isn't it doing as well as it was before? And it's because
the time.
we don't have the time, do we?
And that's the thing with being a small business, it is just me and you, and I think people don't realise that. Like, we get some horrible messages.
Oh, awful.
Not all the time. And we'll go into that on the mental health part. But it is just the two of us, so if we don't do it, it don't get done.
Yeah.
And we do let it slide, especially just Christmas just gone, we have let it slide, but it's Christmas. We want that time. We want time off and stuff, and it's just all about now pushing to get it back.
Yeah, because that's the one thing with like the platform we use, like on TikTok. If you let it slide even slightly, you then have to put in triple the amount of effort to get it back, don't you? Whereas when we were being consistent before, when we had the time to be consistent, it was going really well, and was like, right, we're gonna have this forever, and then you don't, do you? It just stops.
Yeah, that's the thing. If anyone's out there thinking about using TikTok as their main marketing, dirt.
Yeah, not unless you've got a backup, because that's one thing we should have done initially.
Yeah, and we'll work on that now. We'll work on those backup channels now, but yeah, don't ever put all your eggs into the TikTok basket, because it's just not gonna. It's so up and down, the algorithm. It's never one video will do super well, you get loads of sales, and you'll think, yes, we've done it, we've made it, and then the next video just awful, and you get no views. So don't ever do that.
Like, we've got more followers than we ever imagined that we'd have, but it doesn't mean to say that every video is going to do well.
No, not at all. Like, we've had some with, even though we've got 350,000 followers, some videos will get 2,000 views, and that's it.
But others will get 1 million views. And views don't always equal sales as well. That's one thing that we have learned, isn't it?
We've had videos with 1 million views, 1 sale, and then a video with maybe 200,000 views, and we'll get like 20 sales.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah. But then again, we've had videos, I think it was one of them where we got 7 million views on it, but we sold about an amount of money.
Don't say the money
amount. I won't
amount.
say the money amount. I'm trying to figure out. Sorry, maths. It was something like 1,500 items we sold.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah. The reason why I don't like to talk figures is because the figure sounds high, but when you break down
costs,
because we use dropshipper, the cost and everything and the fees it sounds like a really high amount, but it's really not. When you go into dropshipping, that's what you've got to be aware of.
Yeah.
Is you are going to be cutting into your profits by our profit margin used to be what, like 80% profit?
It was like when we was working 60 to 80 hour weeks, it was about 80% profit.
We was making a lot of money. Well, not
and
a lot,
we had lower prices as well.
Yeah, lower prices. We was making a good amount of money for ourselves. And then when we went to the dropship, because we just didn't have the time or the energy anymore, our profit margin is now, I think, about 30%. So it's massive.
Which means it's less sales for the customers, and as everything's going up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get into more about this later on. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
I know, we're not talking about much parenting. So the fact that he was premature, that like kind of not hindered, but like
it definitely hindered it. Yeah. I get what you mean. It slowed everything down a bit, didn't it?
I think when we planned the I can't even say it. The route of the business.
The route of the business, yeah.
Yeah. With the baby, we was planning it on the account that the pregnancy would be perfect. And if we was to do it again, if you was to have another baby or I was to have a baby, we would probably plan for the worst circumstance possible, which is having a premature baby.
Yeah.
Or being put on bed rest or whatever. So I think that's something we've now learned, is to plan for that outcome rather than, they're pregnant, I've got 9 months. Because you don't have 9 months.
No. One other thing I wish we'd planned for is, which obviously was never gonna get perfect. I had it in my head, I was like, right, the baby sleeps this many hours a day, all they do is sleep, so I'll have time to do work.
No,
when in reality, no, you don't.
There's no time.
Everyone's like, sleep when the baby sleeps, you'll be fine. That's not, it doesn't happen. I'm still sleep deprived from when he was newborn, and he's nearly 6 months old.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, they're like, sleep when your baby sleeps, but then it's like, well, I've got a house to clean, I've got bottles to sterilise, I've got clothes to wash.
Exactly.
Like, and your husband works, like, they only get 2 weeks off, so what are you meant to do there? Like,
that's right.
They have to go to work and make the money, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like, when he was first born, because he was premature, he was feeding every 2 hours, but it took him an hour to actually eat a bottle.
Yeah.
So, and in that, you'd be like, oh, well, that's an hour you could sleep until he woke up again. No. Because at the time, I was trying to to breastfeed.
Yeah.
So, that's 15 minutes pumping, and then it's probably another 15 minutes sterilising. So I was maybe getting a 20-minute nap in between every feed.
Yeah.
And it's like, where in that day would I have possibly fit business work?
No, you can't. And that's what the maternity is for. But when you're self-employed, it's hard to like give up, because in the way the business is like your first baby.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and you want to keep it going, don't you?
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you've got very specific roles, like, I think if we did this again, we'd probably have it so we was both like a jack of all trades, wouldn't we?
Oh god, yeah.
Start from the beginning if we did that. That's one thing I would advise, like, people who are thinking about starting a business with a friend.
Don't ever dissect roles, like, make sure you have knowledge in everything that goes into the business.
Yeah. Another thing to be aware of is you will argue all the time. Like, we've been friends for years, haven't we?
Yeah.
How many arguments have we had in the business?
There's been one very bad one.
That was horrific.
That was the argument.
The argument that defined our friendship. Yeah. We was either coming out with that stronger or not at all.
We made it. And we have bickers all the time, and we disagree about what we want to do with the business. But apart from that one argument, which just ended up in us both crying, we've always managed to find a solution. It's just that argument, I think, was too far gone.
Yeah.
We was tired.
Like, you have to be able to know that your friendship can get through that. Otherwise, I wouldn't advise getting into business with a friend.
No.
You have to be certain that, I mean...
Our friendship was built on
arguing.
making another cry.
Yeah. Literally, one of the first conversations I had with Caris, she made me cry. And then we ended up being friends, but... The thing is, though, we have the sort of friendship where we can just say stuff to each other.
Oh god, yeah.
We just,
and
not everyone has that.
It's not very what's the word? HR approved. But we insult each other all the time, which I think gets out little bits of stress. Yeah. So, like, I'll call her all sorts of names. I can't say it, but all sorts of names.
It's not a podcast. You can say what you want.
Well, not. We'll be.
Oh, we're being PG.
PG.
PG-13.
We can swear once with PG-13.
Save it to the end. Should we save it to the end and say it together? You can tell what type of podcast this is going to be.
So yeah, we get our little vents, but yeah, I won't recommend doing it with a friend unless you know you're not going to fall out forever. Yeah,
you have to be pretty confident about that. Not that we actually thought about that all in the beginning, because we was like, business with a friend, it's going to be sick, it's going to like party every day, and it's not. It's really not. Should we go on to mental health?
Yeah, let's talk about we don't really talk about the main point.
This is us though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about parenting.
Yeah, there's some smothered smuggled in there.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Do you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, so we've got a mother in business, and I'm someone who's very depressed.
Oh, depression.
Well, it's so do I give my diagnoses?
Oh, come on, let's say the diagnosis. I'll get my notepad.
There's only two.
All right.
So far.
wait and see.
So I've got panic disorder, or anxiety, panic disorder and generalised anxiety disorder. So basically it means that I have panic attacks and I'm always anxious. And it's at a point where I can't really leave the house much. I do sometimes.
You're getting a lot better.
Yeah, I'm out the house today.
I think lockdown brought it down a lot for you.
Oh god, yeah, lockdown was a whole separate issue. But yeah, any questions?
Yeah, like how do you, what do you need to do differently in business because of your mental health?
So there's certain so first of all we work from home, so that's a step because I don't have to go out and deal with people.
People are horrible.
But there's certain things that come along with the business that you do have to kind of deal with, but you can censor yourself from. So like obviously we mainly market on TikTok and people are mean. So I don't look at comments. That is just that's Abby's job.
I like the drama.
Yeah, she loves it. She's like, oh, she don't care what people say. People can be horrible, and she's like, I love it.
People were calling my feet critters the other day.
What?
One of my feet got in the shot when I was filming, and people were like, look at them critters.
I didn't know that.
Did you not? That's absolutely crazy.
Oh god. Yeah. So. See, maybe I should start looking at comments. I want to see comments like that with calling my feet critters.
Sorry,
I'm surprised no one's commented on my fingernails yet, because I bite them and no one's commented on them.
No, they comment on my horrible toes
instead. They've seen my horrible bit of nails for years.
Yeah.
Not one person's mentioned it. But your feet just make the edge of a video.
Do you remember when we used to get our nails done to film?
Oh yeah, I don't fucking do that anymore.
No, we used to wear jewellery and everything, and I was just like,
No, I don't care.
Here you are.
Here's my grotty hand.
Yeah. Here's my claw and my critters.
Yeah, so don't look at comments because we've had spirals before where I've deleted videos because of comments, and so I'm not
Caris
allowed.
isn't allowed. No. Because you just you go into a pit, don't you?
Go into the spiral.
The spiral, yeah.
Yeah, so at one point I was locked out of the account. We made
Not
that
being
decision.
mean. No,
we made the decision
it was just
together.
getting a bit much for your mental health, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the other thing is, so I do handle pretty much all the customer service until someone's really mean, and then it goes over to her.
I quite like it.
Yeah, she likes telling people. I'll be super, super duper nice,
Yeah.
and I can deal with so much. But if it's someone who's like really do you remember we had someone like calling us the C word and all sorts.
Oh god, that was horrific. That I remember that one. That was on Facebook. That one.
Yeah, that was on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that is another precaution. Another thing is just if it's a bad anxiety day, just do minimum, or just plan for the bad days. So like I'll only do the stuff I really like, and luckily because it's self-employed, we can do that.
Yeah. It's the thing is, it works quite well because I don't want, obviously it's coming across like I'm absolutely awful to people who are mean to us. I'm not.
No, she's not. She's
I kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
But I'm really passive with it.
Yeah, it's just I sometimes need to step away from that. For my own mental health.
I'll be honest though, you're a lot nicer to customers in messages than I am. A lot nicer. Like sometimes you'll do stuff for people and I'm like, oh my god, I wouldn't have done that. Not a chance. But that's what works quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah, customer service is obviously very important, but if people pass a line, we're not going to be bending over backwards to help them because they've been a tool.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to put it. Don't you dare swear throughout this because I want us both to do this right at the end.
We'll have to pick a word.
Which one I'm going to go for?
Oh, I don't know.
It can't be worse than the F one.
Well, it'll have to just be there because we can't do the C one.
No, can't do the C one. That's not PG.
That's my favourite as well.
I know it is me too. Oh my god, the poor people that are going to be marking this. You won't even watch it.
I don't care. Mental health. There'll be loads of stuff that I do that I just can't really remember because now I'll just put.
It's just ranging in his sleep.
Life.
Was that an adult cough?
That was a day cough.
That wasn't a Samuel cough.
No, that was not a Samuel cough. That was a grown human cough.
That was a I smoke 40 a day cough on it.
So the cost of living crisis, obviously everyone knows about it. It's all over the news, which does not help That's another thing I do. I delete the news app from my phone. So if anyone gets stressy over news, just delete the app. Because I used to get, I did it in the pandemic, I used to get pop-ups. This many people have died, this disaster had happened, just delete it. It's not worth it. But yeah, so like obviously people have less money, so they buy less, so we then get less money and we buy less, and it's a big cycle.
Yeah, and then the supplies that we use like are going up massively, aren't they?
Yeah, t-shirts costing more, vans costing more, it's all costing more. So, and then it's not just that, it's the cost of the electrics. So we have heat presses to do our t-shirts and stuff, like for the videos, and it's the cost of them.
Yeah, like my gas and electric last month was £300 for 1 month.
It's ridiculous. And that's the thing, cold, and with you having a baby, you have to have the heating on.
I'd sit with a blanket if it was up to me, but obviously I can't do that with 7-year-old.
That's what we've done. We've got electric blankets.
Yeah.
Because it costs less than the heating. But if we've got pets, if the pets get cold, I can't have the little ears be cold, you know?
No.
That's how you know if the cat's cold, is the little
and
cold.
And then there's Boris outside in the wind and rain, going to bring rats in.
Oh yeah.
Boris is a cat, by the way. I'm
He's
not
not
talking
person.
about Boris Johnson. Bringing all the rats in. No, she's got a big ginger cat called Boris, haven't you?
Although you haven't been going out recently, it's been too cold for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like really difficult last probably 6 months, hasn't it? Because people are spending less money. And obviously come January, people are having even less money because it's just been Christmas. So it means that we have to work harder to put more stuff out there. To try and get some of the income that's generated through TikTok. But it might be like worthwhile, like I was talking about it today, like using other avenues, because obviously people don't go onto TikTok to buy. We're trying to get them off a social media site, don't we?
Yeah, so it's hard. So you have like the flow of customers. So like if they was on Etsy per se, they're on Etsy to buy, and then you're at that point already. So you go on the shop, you click the item, you buy it. Whereas TikTok, we're asking them to leave the app, go to a site, look at the site, and then buy. And it's just harder to convert that sale than it would be if they was already on the site from Google.
Yeah, and it makes it more difficult as well, because obviously they get charged like VAT and or like if you're not in the UK, like tax and things like that. So when they get, even if they add it to the basket, they might then get to the end and be like, oh, actually it's too expensive with VAT and or shipping. Tax and shipping. Yeah,
all this stuff. Yeah.
Whereas Etsy, it tends to be quite clear with pricing, whereas Shopify tends to be a bit, it don't say it till the end, does it?
Yeah, and there might be a way to change that maybe, but I haven't looked into it, so maybe we'll look into it, but I'm not too sure if there is or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we should have done earlier on that we're just winging our way with now. Like I was talking about YouTube, about being more active on Instagram. But obviously we're going into this just winging it.
Yeah.
So it's like we're just gonna have to see what happens, see what works well and what doesn't.
We're like waiting for that moment where you have all the knowledge.
And that just doesn't happen. I mean, we've been doing this since 2020, and it's like,
oh god, yeah.
Yeah, like 2 years.
I kind of wish it was back to when it was smaller.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, look how stressed we was.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that we would have done differently, but at the same time, that's how we learn what not to do, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I always say life's made of mistakes.
Yeah. You're not going to learn anything by getting everything right straight away.
No.
And
you need to take risks and stuff. And having your own business is a risk in itself.
Yeah.
And you're going to have stresses and money worries and financial stuff, because no business is going to go, woo!
Yeah. And obviously, this podcast is named Women in Business. I feel like often when we're messaging people, they assume that we're men.
Oh, but we was on the phone to insurance, sorting out some insurance. I corrected
him 3 times.
Yeah, and she mentioned my partner in business, and every time he brought it up, he said he, and Abby was like she.
Eventually, I just accepted it.
Yeah, and we just can't be asked.
Yeah.
It's like, just because we say partner, it does not mean man.
Yeah, and that's the issue, isn't it? Like, even when we've had emails and stuff, it's like, dear sir, and it's like, why are you making that assumption? But I suppose we're going to go into this more in the podcast, aren't we? But maybe in one of the future episodes.
I think we're quite because we're quite isolated and it's just me and you, we don't deal with a lot of like sexism.
Yeah.
Because it's just us. We're not in the corporate world. We haven't gone into competition with anyone else. Obviously, we'd probably find that. The dropshipper we use is co-owned by a woman, so it's like we don't see as much of it, but we know it's there, and we do see it in some aspects, like when people contact us or assume we're men.
Even on TikTok, they often assume that we're
men.
men.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and I'm like, my hands are not manly. Women hands. Lady hands.
Lady hands. I mean, it's just one of them things, isn't it? That's just gonna come with it. I mean, the world is getting better for it, but I feel we don't really face a lot of it. But at the same time, I still feel like there's a way to go for women in business to be seen as equal.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Oh God, yeah. 100%.
But we'll probably go into that more in future episodes.
Yeah, we'll get some statistics.
Yeah. On that note, shall we end this with our swear word?
Yes. It's been nice talking.
It's been nice. I'm going to put a beep over this. You ready? Okay. Oh, I'm getting excited. Let's hold on.
Right, I'm a bit sweaty.
Let's turn to the camera and do it together. 3, 2, 1.